Hey, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to show you some fabulous features to help modernize your forms. I'm Jane Davis, and I'm actually going to be covering the Power Apps form component control. And then Miriam's going to come on after that, and she's going to show you the Power Apps grid control. So we'll start with the form component. So what is a form component control? So it's basically a component that you can put on a form that it really allows you to place one form within another form. It kind of works like a quick view form, if you're familiar with that. Quick view forms will let you display information from a related record onto another form, but your information or your data would be read only from a quick view form. For a form component, it will actually allow you to directly update the records data, the related records data. So you don't have to click around to another record or another screen to be able to update data. So the scenario that I'm going to show you is basically we're going to update a contact record from within a case form. When you're working with a case, a lot of times when you choose the contact, you might be able to see the contact information, but it might be incorrect or incomplete. And so you might want to be able to update that on the fly. So that's what we're going to do without having to leave the case form. Okay, so there's really kind of three things to think about when you get started here. The first is you want to identify where do you want to put this form component? Where will it be used? So in our scenario, we're going to use it on the case form. So we know that we need to go to the case form to put it there. The second thing is where, what is the related form that you're wanting to put on that, or what form are you embedding? And you need to make sure that you create that as a main form. And in this case, it's going to be a new contact main form that we're going to create. And then once we get done with the forms, we'll just want to make sure that we go into our model-driven app and make sure that both of those forms are enabled for that model-driven app so that you will see what you're expecting when your users go to look at it. So real quick, just to kind of give you a visual here of the difference between a quick view form and a form component. The quick view form on the left here just shows a case form, and we have embedded down here the quick view form, and it has the three fields on it that we're interested in, which is email, business phone, and mobile phone. But you can see that they have little locks next to those field name displays, and that's because they're going to be read-only when you look at the case form. You're not going to be able to update the data. But the form on the right is the same case form, but it shows an embedded form component control instead. And it looks very similar, but in this case, you don't have locks next to those fields, which means that you will be able to edit that data. So they're very, very similar. So I'm going to do a demo and show you how I put this together. Give me a moment to swap over there. Okay. Okay, so we'll start with just taking a look at the case form in the edit view. So I'm in the Maker portal. And when we look at the case form here, we see that I actually have already embedded the quick view form and the form component control, as we were talking about. So I am going to go and show you how to put that form component control on here, though. But I did want to just point out that you typically would not put a quick view form and a form component control on one form because they basically are you're repeating what both forms are trying to give you, except for that one is just going to be read only and one is editable. So you have to just pick. Do you want to be able to edit it? If you do, then you need a form component. If you don't need to edit it, then all you need is a quick view form. So I'm going to leave it on there, though, just so I can kind of demonstrate how they both work. Then the next thing we have to do before we actually put that form component control on the case form is we need to create a new contact main form. So when you create a form, you have to pick what type of form it is. And so you want to make sure that you're picking the main form. And that's the only kind of form that will work with a component control, a form component control. And then also you'll see here that I went ahead and added these three fields, and this is very minimalistic as far as what I'm putting on this form, because you don't really want to clutter up your case form with things about the contact that we don't necessarily need. But really you can put just about anything you need on here, but in this scenario, this is all we need. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and, sorry, the third thing is that once you've got your forms the way that you want, you've got your case form, you've got your contact form created and it's embedded on your case form, then you need to make sure that you go into your model-driven app and make sure that the forms that you just worked with are enabled there. So for here, for case forms, I'm actually using a form that's called case sample form right here. So it is up here in this app. If it wasn't up here, you would probably see it down in this app, not in this app, and you would just have to set it to active so that it would come up here. You need to do the same thing for your contacts. So you go to that contact form, that main contact form that we created. And in this case, it's called contact for case form. And it is in this app, but if it were not, you would need to add it. Then you would save and publish, and then you would actually be able to release it to the users. So I'm going to show you how this works. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you how to put the form on. I'm going to put the form component control on here, and then I'm going to show you how it works. So sorry about that. Yep, we do have this form component control on here already, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So I created this this section here that doesn't have anything in it, just added that. And then what I'm going to do is go over here to my navigational menu and go to components. And then from in here, I'm going to go down to input, and then I'm going to go to form. Okay, and here it's asking me for the lookup column that I want to use for this component. And in our scenario, we're going to be using the contact lookup. And it'll take just a few seconds before it gives you the next prompt. It's going to be asking us, okay, well, we know you want to use the contact. What contact form do you want to use? So here's what is the related form. And that one that I created is called the contact for case form. So I'm going to pick that. The only thing it'll allow you to choose there are main forms. So if you don't see the form that you're looking for, it's probably not a main form. All right, that's really all there is to configuring it. We're just going to click done. And you're going to see that it added it right here, right below the one that I already had here. And now this is in its own section, and you can see that we don't have any records showing, or sorry, any fields or anything showing up here right now. And that is normal for form component control. You can only see the fields once you have actually selected a contact on the actual case form. So I'll show you how that works. The only other thing I wanted to mention here is on the one that I had here already, I did not hide a label. I actually added a descriptive label here so that on the form you could tell what the form was for. And then this one that I just did, I did not, or I hid the label by default. So if you want a label, that you don't control that on the actual contact form, you control that in the case on the section. Okay, now let's go see how this works. So I'm just going to skip over here. I'm in my model-driven app, and I actually have opened up a sample case that I've already created, and I've actually already selected that this case is for a Bill Smith. So the contact's already selected. And if I scroll down here, I can see the first thing I see is the quick view form. Again, you won't have both of these forms, but I'm going to show you how they work together. We can see that he has email address and two phone numbers, so there's nothing missing. But perhaps I need to change one of the phone numbers, or maybe the email address is different. So I wouldn't be able to do that up here in the quick view form, but I can do that down here in the form component control. So if Bill Smith's email has maybe gov was not right and it's supposed to be com, I can just change that right there. I could do something like, oh, he says, hey, I don't have a business phone anymore, just my mobile. I could actually delete this, just leave it blank. Okay, and then the important thing to understand is that the changes you just made to this contact in this contact form has not been saved to the contact yet, has not been written to your database until you actually save this case. So I'm just going to click save up here. Okay, now it is saved to the contact form. And one way to kind of tell that it's saved at the contact form is because it actually updated the information that this quick view form is showing you, which is read-only, but you can see that it now reflects those changes that we just made in the form component control. The only other thing I want to show you in here is how it looks if you don't have a contact selected. So if you're creating a brand new case and maybe you just haven't gotten the contact selected in there yet, I just wanted to kind of show you that the way these two work, when you don't have the contact, the quick view form won't show at all. It just basically hides unless unless it knows what contact you're talking about. But the form component control again does show up and gives you this message that says source record not selected. But as soon as you actually select another record or a record, I'm just going to pick somebody different, it will populate and show the proper forms. And that's really it. That's all there is to a form component control, and it's very useful. And now I'm going to actually hand this over to Miriam.
Hello everyone, my name is Mariam Omar and I'm Associate Consultant at Stonebridge. So I'll be talking about Power Apps Git Control today. So what actually is Power Apps Git Control? So Power Apps Git Control is actually the next evolution of Power Apps read-only control. What it does, it is actually allow the users to view, open, and edit records from views and subgrids. Other than that, it's highly customizable and it has a lot of powerful capabilities like inline editing, infinite scrolling, nested grids, grouping, aggregation, and much more. But for today demo, I will be only showing inline editing. Some of these features are basically in preview. So for today, I'll be showing inline editing, nested grids, and how can you show your option set in a colorful way. For the example scenario, what I will be showing is the nested grid for account, which will be basically showing all the opportunities related to that account. And in that opportunity column, in that opportunities, we have a column which we want to show in different colors. So now I'll be sharing my screen. Please bear with me. Okay, so if you can see, I am in my model model driven app. And the view that is currently open is my active account. So I'm in my accounts and my active view. You can see I have all this data, but if I want to edit anything, I have to actually open that record and go and make any changes like this, and I have to save the record to make sure that the changes are being saved. And I don't have any information regarding the opportunities. Like if I want to see any opportunities regarding any account, I have to go to the opportunities and look for them. So the goal really here is to actually see all that information in one view, where for each account I should be able to see the related opportunities. So this is my opportunities view. Currently it is my open opportunities. And another thing that I want to achieve here is like I'm interested in knowing the ratings. Like I'm interested in ratings, and you can see it's a choice column and it has three different options: hot, warm, and cold. So I want to, for all these different options, I want to show a different color so that I can differentiate which type of opportunity is that. So this all could be achieved using a simple control, which is Power Apps Grid Control, and I'm going to show you how to set that up. So now I'm moving to my make.powerapps.com portal, and here I am in my accounts. So I'm in my account table. If I go to my accounts, I can go and look at views. So the way I'll be setting up this component on the view. So let's open this view, which is all accounts. I want to set it up on all accounts. Um, I have this, I'll go to the components, and you see there currently there is no component and I have to add that component. It might not show up in the list, so I'll go and try to look it up. So, okay, so we are gonna go search built by Microsoft. Okay, I'm gonna refresh it one more time to make sure. Okay, I found the control. This is the control. I'm gonna add it. And once you have added the control, the next step is how you're gonna configure it. I told you that it's highly customizable and there are a lot of options which are in preview and you can set them up. But for today's demo, we'll be just setting up few options. So this is the first step is basically choosing the table. Like what do you want to show as a child record? Like do you want to show cases, opportunities, or what? In my case, I want to show the opportunities related to an account. So I'm going to go and find the opportunities table, which should be somewhere, here. Okay. So once I select the opportunities, you see it will let me allow the view that you can choose any view that you are interested in. I want to choose all opportunities related to that account. And this table column is basically telling me which parent ID should I be looking at. Like, is it contact? Is it account? So I am interested in account. So I'm going to go and choose lookup, account lookup. So once I have set this up, these are the other settings that I was talking about. For this demo, we want to enable inline editing. So I'm going to go and set it to yes. And I want to show my option set to show colors. I'm going to go and set it to yes, and that's it. That's how we said we are going to go and save this. Once you have set it up, the next step is you're going to go save and publish your app, and then you're going to come to your model driven app and do a hard refresh. So if I go to my accounts now and I have set it up the control on all accounts, I'm going to go to my all accounts. Now you can see it looks different from the active accounts, and you have these forward arrows. So if I click on the one of the arrows, you will see I have all this data. So now this is my nested grid set up properly. What you are seeing here is right. I have one account and I can see all the related opportunities to that account. And let's say I want to edit this phone number for this account. Once I'm done editing, I can just move on. I don't need to click save or anything. It will auto save the information for this account. Another powerful feature, you remember I mentioned that I want to see different colors for this rating. Now you can see I have red color for hot and warm for is green, and if I have cold it will be yellow. It might be here somewhere like someone has a cold. So you can see like how I can see the different color for each option set and I can differentiate. So how you set up these coloring is basically pretty straightforward. If you go to your opportunity and add that column, which is rating column, all you need to do is set up the colors. For my case, I have set it hot to be red, warm to be green, and cold to be yellow. And that's how you set up. If you don't want any colors, you can choose to leave it blank. But if you want colors, you can just need to choose color here and it will show in your nested grid. So now you can see like I was able to edit the record inline editing. I can see the related opportunities and I can see how my colors option set is so colorful. So we have implemented it for few clients and we got a great feedback. So we can see how powerful tool this is. And eventually this is going to replace all reads only and editable grids. Um, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Please feel free to go and try and enjoy this. And if you have any more questions, feel free to reach to me or anyone from Stone Ridge. That's it from me. Handing it back to Jane. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Miriam. Okay, we just wanted to leave you with this information. We know we did give you a lot of information in a short period of time today. So there are some QR codes here for you to scan that will take you to the Microsoft documentation on each of these components that we've covered. So feel free to dig in. There's a lot more detailed information there and maybe even limitations on some of them that you might need to be aware of. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir, everyone.